Hi, and welcome back to the DPAF. And I wanted to ask the question of what happened to the boosters. I mean, it seemed like it was just a few weeks back. Tony Blair was telling everyone they were an idiot if they didn't take the booster. Ian Duncan Smith said it was idiotic if you didn't take the booster. It was obsession with the boosters. And then Boris Johnson did another Freedom Day. I think it was the first Freedom Day we'd had since last July or last August. And now all of a sudden, it's like the lights have gone off on the virus, and now we've got the war. And did anyone think that all our posturing over the last few years about how afraid we need to be and how sheltered we need to be from real life would play into the hands of our enemies around the world? Would people be looking at Britain thinking, wow, those British are so tough, they're cowering in their homes from a virus with a 99.6% survival rate. Why don't we take them on? Why don't we challenge them to military conflict? What about this conflict in the Ukraine? Do you think Britain should commit ground troops? Do you think Britain will commit ground troops? Do you think if we fought the Russians, we would win? Do you think if we fought the Russians, we would lose? There's a lot of talk in the British news about how Ukraine are putting up a big fight, how it's not going to plan for Russia. I mean, it seems to me like Kiev's pretty much been captured within a week. That would seem to me to be a good rate of progress in a war, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the British media, they were so on it with the virus, maybe they're right on the money here with the conflict in Ukraine. I'm not supporting Russia. I'm supporting good standards by us. Why is it that people, bad actors of the world, think they can cause trouble in the world? Is it because they think Britain is so strong? Is it because they think America is so strong? Or is it because we're weak? Is it because we've got a totally weak and hollowed out financial system? We have trillions in debt. We've exacerbated this problem through the coronavirus hysteria. And we violated all our civil liberties. This is why I was so against it. This is why I wanted a prosecution of the government, because we are looking weak. And this followed the Theresa May era. Do you remember all that? When we had the deadline, the March 31st, we were going to make the deadline to leave the European Union. And then we just had to have all those delays. We kept having the delays because we were quote unquote not ready. Whereas wasn't it Theresa May's job to get us ready? We also had that nonsense with the Secretary of Defense who touched Julia Hartley-Brewer on the leg at a dinner party back in 2001, and he had to be fired as the Secretary of Defense. When that came out, cheered along by Theresa May. What did the Russians think about that? Do you think the Russian defense minister gets fired for touching a woman on a leg at a dinner party back in 2001? I don't think so. They're focused on defense, they are focused on offense, and we are not. And that's why we look weak and they look strong. And that's, I think, part of the reason why this conflict is occurring. Not to mention the other economic factors, such as the decline of the petrodollar, which we can talk more about. And but I think Britain's financial system, way too dependent on America, way too indebted. We have clowns like Boris Johnson and Rishi running it, and this invites problems in our direction. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on what the next steps are for Britain. There's been all this stuff about how, we've got to support Ukraine and we stand with Ukraine. Will Britain commit ground forces to Ukraine? And what does this mean for British people? What does this mean for the cost of living in Great Britain? What does it mean for the costs of fuel, of heating your house, of feeding your kids, feeding yourself, paying your mortgage? Will house prices fall, as I've been predicting they will? I don't know. I want to know what you think, and we'll go from there. Also, we've had this ton of hysteria through the month of January with Sue Gray doing the quote-unquote investigation into the Partygate, while all of you were sitting at home, protecting yourself from the virus. The 10 Downing Street people were having parties every day. Sue Gray has now finished the investigation into the Partygate, However, will she now do the investigation into where the virus came from? What about the lab? Will Sue Gray do an investigation of the lab? I'm willing to bet everything I own that she will not, because we're not interested in finding out how these problems occur. We're just interested in a country in profiting from the problems after they've occurred. You know, you got people like Matt Hancock doing his podcasts, trying to rehabilitate his image. I mean, the problem with Matt Hancock is he is a sociopath. He has no human empathy. He is not someone that should be in a position of high responsibility in any way. Yet the Conservative Party, who are not conservative, thought he was a great guy. So I think that says more about them than it does about him, even though I have very, very little time for Matt Hancock. He has violated British laws repeatedly and should be held to account for that. So I hope you like this video. I am over in the country of Georgia. I've been doing videos about Georgia, how it's an alternative option to Great Britain. I mean, I love Britain, I'm British, but if you think the costs of living in Great Britain are too high, if you think taxes are too high, if you think the strength of the currency is too low, what about another option over here in Georgia? I can help you come and visit here, I can help you invest here, I can help you get established here, and I can help you potentially get citizenship here going forward if that's what you want. You can actually get a residency permit for a sort of 1 year. You get visa free for 1 year, and then you can get a residency permit after that. So it's pretty easy getting into the country of Georgia, staying here, setting up a business here as I've done, buying property here as I've done, investing in other businesses here as I've done, and I can help you to do that. So check out our website, lifeboatnow.com. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts on this conflict it's called a conflict in Eastern Europe. I'm in Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe's a very big place. Obviously, I wouldn't want to be in Ukraine at the moment, but here in Georgia, it's very, very safe. However, will this conflict escalate? Will these sanctions on Russia hurt Russia? Will they hurt Russia to the extent to which they can no longer fight? Or will Russia survive the sanctions? Will the lack of exports in energy and food from Russia start to hurt Western Europe? Will they start to hurt us in Great Britain? And what does it mean for the strength of the dollar, the world's reserve currency, which Britain is tied to? So let me know your thoughts. Please keep watching these videos. I appreciate it very much, and we'll look forward to talking with you soon.